Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Smiling Dread 4, and welcome back to Final Fantasy X HD Remastered. It's been quite a while, hasn't it, guys? I want to say about 2-3 months, maybe. I don't know. It's been quite a while since I've last touched on this game. But hey, I'm finally back, and I am ready to finish this series off once and for all. Now, in our last episode for this game, we had the semi-finale, the eternal calm of the game, and that was basically just a little episode to give me quite a break, as what I'm about to do for these next few episodes is give me a pretty long thing. Or, I guess not pretty long, but it took me a lot of time to prepare for this, as today, if you can't tell in the title so far, we're going against the Dark Aeons, and not just the Dark Aeons, but just all the super bosses in this game, and sort of. Mainly the Dark Aeons, their master, quote unquote, and I haven't determined this one yet, but I'm hopefully going to go for Nemesis as well, the guy from the Muscle Arena. But more on that later. Now, before we get into this, I'm going to say this right now. This is probably my third time actually recording this video, so if I tend to mutter on over certain things, if I don't seem as interested, keep in mind, third recording, trying to explain all this, get it over with so I can get this into one episode, and then it's just smooth sailing for further on. But where to begin, I say? I guess just some more detail as to what we're going into. Now, here's the thing. Excluding Nemesis, every super boss that I'm planning on going after are International and HD Remaster exclusives. If you don't know what that means, it means unless you bought the game in Europe and played it yourself, or you just happen to get the remaster like I did, you cannot fight these guys. It's not the original versions, not the Japanese version original. Nope, you have to have the HD Remastered in order to fight these guys. It's a little tidbit they added in there for the sake of adding it in. Although, funnily enough, this is the only game out of this and X-2 which has some kind of added super boss. And as far as I'm aware, not counting the Ayusatur Tower in Final Fantasy X-2. If you even count that. Even if you do so. But anyway, yeah. Dark Aeons. One of, if not the toughest super bosses in the Final Fantasy I guess game line? Is that what they call it? I don't know, but maybe I'm wrong because, again, I've only played the modern, well-known games in the series. I haven't gone too far into games like 12 or 8 or whatever the games they are. I've never had that kind of time or the console for it. So kind of a downer point. But yeah, Dark Aeons. Toughest Aeons in the game. There's definitely no pushover. What else can I really say about them? If you can't tell from their name alone, well, they are simply evil versions. I don't know how it works, but I believe that I believe the summoners who had high hopes for Yuna, at least my guess, is that in disappointment they made their Aeons go against her and the party just to make sure that we, as a threat to Spira, cease to exist. And even though we're at a point in the game where we're at the final boss, not the final ultimate boss, but, you know, close enough, it's kind of an odd thing. They're still holding this, but, hey, game's a game, what are you gonna do? Now, for the series, I've done a lot of research as to how to beat guys like these, the kind of the stats that you need to go into to beat these guys, and it is not easy stuff. As a lot of the guides that I've read require you to either A, have your stats maxed out, more specifically strength, defense, evasion, or not evasion, agility, and luck. And that can be a little frustrating to me. So, for most of these Aeons, I'm going to try to avoid just these overpowered, ridiculous stats, because that's kind of stupid. I mean, I know some people are not that kind of person. Maybe there's people that just go against these guys for the sake of getting trophies or just bragging rights. I know not everyone's a true dedicated Final Fantasy fan, and to have them sit through this is a pretty miserable experience, but I guess not as miserable as what I've already done, and what might be required of you should you tend to go for these guys, which I probably should get into now before the video drags on, or something goes wrong. Alright, now for any of these first 4 Dark Aeons, you will want to hit every single node within the sphere grid. And basically, well actually no, there's no basically about it. Just hit every single sphere node in the grid, and hopefully you should get through these guys pretty easily. But if you guys want reference points, I have Strength, Defense, Agility above 150. Well, excluding Defense, it's close enough, but you get my points. I have Luck at 18. I don't know if that was just given to me, or maybe I actually add some luck spheres in there, maybe? I'm not sure. I've also got High Evasion. That's not going to be really much of a benefit as for what we're going into, but it's there if we need it. And Accuracy, I have a 77. The higher your accuracy, the much easier this becomes, depending on the Aeon itself. It all depends. And the same thing goes for these guys, although their stats may be a little different. Aaron, his strength and defense is a little more than Shadow's, but I believe he has less agility than... Yeah, he has less agility than myself. And I believe evasion as well, and accuracy, definitely. Yuna's a more rounded. Ironically enough, she has the most strength out of these 2 characters. Or, well, never mind. But she's got pretty strong strength, and with her strength, pretty much Anima could KO Dark Valefor in one single Oblivion, but I'm not that cheap, so I'm not going to do that. But yeah, basically, those are the stats if you want some references. If you don't plan on hitting every single spear node, it's still recommended you try and do this, as you don't want to waste the kind of stuff just going into, you know, creating your own sphere grid, as that can be a little tedious in itself. Now, excluding my own character here, I have the celestial weapons for my entire party. Well, not the entire party. I mean, Waka and Riku don't have theirs, neither do Lulu and Kamari, but you get the idea. I have these weapons for the main team I'm going to be using throughout the entire series. Now, the reason I don't have Tidus's main weapon, or Shadow's, if you want to refer him to as my own avatar, there's 2 reasons why I don't have his weapon, and that's mainly because the equipment to get it, or the method to get the equipment, at this point in time, is complete BS. Complete BS. One of them requires you to go back to the Unileska fight and fight it there, but problem is, that's also one of the spots for the Dark Aeons, and yeah, not easy. And even if I did have the item in question there, I still would have to do the Chocobo training and get a perfect 0.00000 score, which, and again, is tedious, and I don't want to put myself through that. I don't want to put you guys through that. So I'm just gonna leave that be. That being said, if you don't have Khalid Bulg, the next best thing I recommend having is, well, don't follow this exactly, but I have half MP cost, 1 MP cost, evading counters, and sensor. The half MP cost was a given. It was the only 4-slot weapon that I had, so I'd make with what I could. Now, if you can make your ideal 4-slot equipment, what I can recommend is, well, break damage limits. That's always a plus. The 1 MP cost, very handy. Sensor doesn't really do anything with these enemies, as the Dark Aeons in themselves cannot, I repeat, not be censored. Meaning, well, okay, wrong kind of sensor, you're probably thinking, but basically you can't scan them, you can't see their HP, what their stats are. It's impossible, as far as I'm aware. Very impossible. So, in this place, for sensor, I could recommend getting a first strike. Evading counter is good if you have good evasion, but that's not a big thing here, and I don't know why I add that in the first place. I guess another good thing you could add to that is maybe some kind of triple or double overdrive, as to make your overdrives a lot easier to get, or something along those lines. I'm not sure. Now, celestial weapons are kind of vary between each character. But regardless, they all have break damage limits, always a handy thing. And for the most part, they have triple overdrive. I think that's the main thing with them. But here's the difference between Auron's and Yuna's. Auron has first strike and counterattack, and they do exactly what they sound like, while as Yuna has double AP and 1 MP cost, again, doing exactly what they say. So they kind of work differently, as well as their stats work differently, but regardless of such, the Celestial weapons are the only weapons that go through enemies without just ignoring all of their defenses. And the Dark Aeons have high defenses, so using these on them really speeds up the process and makes things a lot less hellish in a way. So I recommend having these if you can. Now, for armor, this is what I have. Now, the reason I have HP plus 10% and 20%, all that, is because, honestly, the only thing that I had for it was, again, just like the Astral Sword, just so I could have 4-slot equipment. What I would recommend regardless, though, is having an Auto Phoenix, a Stone Proof, and some kind of form of a haste boost. Auto Haste is one of the best, but SOS Haste, for the guide I'm going for, is also as efficient. Now, you can replace the Stoneproof for Ribbon if you're that dedicated, but Stoneproof is the only one I'm worried about. And as for the HP plus 10%, if you have a perfect empty 4-slot equipment and you have the potential, I recommend getting a break HP limit, as especially for Valefor here, it will make sure you are not one-shotted, especially with how high our HP can be with a break HP limit. And besides that, that's pretty much it in terms of what you need going into these fights. Now keep in mind, these are the stats for the first 4 Aeons on the list, which are the ones in order of how we obtain them within the game. If you do not know how or when we obtain them, you'll find out as we go on throughout the series. But with all that said, hopefully none of this is corrupted. Yeah, so far so good. I like this. Okay, so far so good. Time to get into the actual meat of this fight. Let's actually get into the exciting bit of this. Now, to find Dark Valefor here, you'll have to come back all the way to Besaid Village. This is the only place where you can find him as far as I am aware. Actually, no, scratch that. That is the only place, because you can only find each of these Aeons in one certain location, and they never change. Also, here's the thing that I should mention. Even if you aren't, what was it? So if you aren't planning on just defeating these guys for the sake of, getting trophies and all that, if you don't mind all that, you might have to encounter Dark Valefor here, out of the sense that it's the only way to get Anima if you fail to get the treasure sphere from earlier. The little sphere that has the destroyer item in it. Which is the only thing that can be frustrating with these guys. So, with that said, if you don't have Anima here, go with the strategy I have. If you do have Anima though, and are just going for this to get the trophies, newsflash, 155 strength with Yuna, and a plus 1 Oblivion, instantly knocks out Valefor, saying that right now. Or at the very least gets him close to it. As we get here to Besaid Village, summon her. He gives us the prayer, but in reality... Oh?
Infidel!
How dare you!
Prepare to charge!
And coming out the blue is the Dark Valefor. Yep, and now you know why they're called Dark Aeons. They are actually dark reskins of our Aeons. And they're also very tough. Alright, now out of all the Aeons I have fought, I say Dark Valefor is either probably the second or third hardest to deal with, out of the sheer fact it can be unpredictable at times. Now, strategy I go for here is I'm going to attack with Auron, and I'm going to attack once with Yuna, but then immediately afterward I'm going to go and do an auto life. Now, I know I have auto Phoenix, but I like to reduce them stuff as much as possible, especially if you have 1 MP cost, in which case makes things a lot easier and it saves you some money. As again, I know not everyone grinds this kind of stuff. Now Auron, he's mainly going to be my attack guy. He's the one who's going to be going in for most of the, if not all the attacks. And sure enough, knocks him out. That's the reason why I recommend break HP limits as that happens. But as you saw, immediately after Auron got knocked out, we immediately threw a Phoenix down right on him. Very handy thing. Now, there is a reason why I do have the auto life on it. You may be wondering, but why do this in the first place if you have auto Phoenix? I have a feeling we'll get into that soon enough, but just be patient with me, guys. Alright, let's do this. Again, slap. Oh, how dare you. Yeah, again, these guys also have high evasion, so another reason why you want to get high luck or high accuracy. So I guess slash him as overdrives always hits. Although, the only reason I'm doing this is because Shadow does not have break HP limit, and regardless, he'll always do that much damage. Otherwise, it is a bad idea to do an overdrive, as it does not do as much damage as the other attacks. Ow! And there I go. There I go. Also another good alternative if you want that kind of thing. One thing that I like to have with my party, or, well, not with the party, but I guess in case of emergency, is having all the party on a stoic overdrive, meaning each time that the party is hit, the members will actually get their overdrive build. Good for when you have a character like Shadow here. He has the max, and he wants to get his overdrive build up really easily. Now here, if we had Yuna as our last character, you can either have, if you have auto life, this will help things out. Otherwise, I recommend summoning an Aeon to take the blow. So we're gonna attack him. Boom! Hey-ho! And then here comes the Energy Blast. And again, I do not know how to get this. Energy Blast is an alternate overdrive for Valefor. I do not know how to get it, nor do I want to find out how it works. He's gonna throw the ads. And that's the only attack of his that should break the HP limit. Otherwise, you should be good to go. But yeah, that took out the entire party. And may I remind you, if all your party members go down, Auto Phoenix does not work. It does not. Period. Like, at all. Alright, next up, we'll throw on some more auto life yet again. Now in terms of auto-lifing, I always recommend going for Yuna first, and then Auron. Yuna just for the fact that she summons, and then Auron for the fact that it has high strength. I always leave Shadow as the last person that I ever auto-life, because of the sheer fact that he doesn't have to break damage limits, so it's kind of pointless to do so. Alright, Shadow. Go cast an auto-life for your friends, just so you can survive any more blunt attacks that should come up. Alright, who's next? Uni? Slap him in the face like a boss. Auto life right up here. And now everyone's ready for another energy attack should it come. But now, full out offensive. Oh, we actually knocked him out. Yeah, this is a pretty quick fight, as this Aeon, excluding the other ones, is the only Aeon to have 800,000 HP. Yeah, 800,000 HP. More than 10 times the amount of HP that Braska had, in both forms. Another reason these can be so ball-bustingly difficult. But there we go, that is it. Upon his defeat, we get Dark Matter and a Regen Ring. Now, equipment for each of the Dark Aeons varies. Most of the time you will get Dark Matter, and the rest of the time you'll just get some kind of different equipment.
You're a bad man!
Oh, and also, a little fun fact here, if you didn't notice that, but those lines right there, you're a bad man, or stay away from the summoner, you're a bad man, etc., etc., those are actually voice clips taken from the beginning of the game. I did not actually figure this out until I actually looked it up, as I wasn't sure whether or not that was the case, but it's a little nice thing, I guess. I guess the guys were in a bit of a rush for the remastered games to do their thing. But there we go, we have Dark Valefor done. Once you beat him, you can go back to the Basay Temple and grab that sphere if you need it for Anima. And again, if you have Anima already, I recommend having an Oblivion used, as it will one-shot KO him easy. Makes things a lot quicker. But anyway, that does it for this video. So with that said, Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Final Fantasy X HD Remastered. If you did enjoy this, make sure you leave a like and a comment down below to show your support for the series. And as always, if you are new here to the series and want to see more Final Fantasy as it comes out daily, then make sure you have subscribed for the latest in RPG content. And until next time, this is Smiling Dread 4 signing out. Have a great rest of your day, take care, and I hope to see you guys tomorrow with some more Final Fantasy X.